Drop the act and find true intimacy. This week we're jumping into Donald Miller's book, Scary Close. Hey guys, I'm Chris Baldwin from chrisbaldwin.com, and this is BookTube Thursday. Today we're looking at Scary Close by Donald Miller. See, after decades of failed relationships and painful drama, man, I sounded too happy about that, didn't I? Let me try that again. After decades of failed relationships and painful drama, Donald Miller decided he had enough. So at 40 years old, he made a scary decision: to be himself no matter what the cost. Donald Miller is the CEO of StoryBrand, and every year helps more than 3,000 business leaders clarify their brand message. Don's books have spent more than a year on the New York Times bestsellers list. His books include Blue Light Jazz, A Million Miles in 1,000 Years, and Scary Close. I mean, he is an extremely entertaining writer and speaker, and I love his humor in these books. His Instagram is @DonMillerIs. And before we jump into this book, I wanted to do another Mega Constructs.
I don't think there's more than we can do. How come you think that I still owe you anything more than pain, more than the pouring rain? How can there be more to explain? No, I won't go down the drain, 'cause I was there too, always so true, always so blind.
We were born restless minds, incompatible, different sides. So we had to read between the lines.
I don't think you're worth the trouble, trouble. I think it's over, then you make it double. Perhaps I should've known from the get-go, but some things are just too hard to let go. But I don't think you're worth the trouble.
So Scary Close comes in at 229 pages, broken into 16 chapters. The big idea is the only way to really connect with others is to be completely honest about who we really are. So some of my favorite quotes from this book include, "Grace only sticks to our imperfections. Those who can't accept their imperfections can't accept grace either." Man, to think about that, like grace only connects to our imperfections. Like when you're imperfect, you get to receive grace. That's an amazing thing to think. Like I never thought about that. If you want to receive grace, that's because you're imperfect. So good, isn't it? I mean, that's so good. Another great quote is, "It's a beautiful moment when somebody wakes up to this reality, when they realize God created them so other people could enjoy them, not just endure them." Many of us were like, well, I don't really think that other people like me being around them, or I don't really feel comfortable around other people. God created you to be enjoyed by other people. They're not just meant to endure you, but to actually enjoy you. And to be fair, a lot of them do enjoy you, even though you might think in your mind that they only endure you. Oh, that's so good. Another great quote is, "God is going to reveal me as a flawed human being as fast as he can, and he's going to enjoy it because it will force me to grapple with real intimacy." Man, that's good stuff. When you realize that you're flawed, you get to deal with the intimacy issues. You get to deal with real intimacy. And I know that's a struggle, and this book really helped me out with that, because it's a struggle, but there's so much joy and love on the other side of it, that when you have that fear of disconnect, you don't really get. You know, does that make sense? Does that make sense? I think it makes sense. Another great quote: "I begin to wonder what life would be like if I dropped the act and began to trust that being myself would be enough to get the love I needed." Man, how many of us act because we think that being ourselves is not enough? We have to be somebody else. You go on your first date is you pretend to be somebody else so they can really get to know you. But what would it be like if you could begin to trust that being yourself was enough to get the love that you needed? A good story makes you thankful to be alive because it reminds you that while sometimes painful, life is indeed beautiful and even magical. See, with story, there's so many obstacles. There's so many things that you have to overcome. A good story is not one where you automatically get the prize at the end. A good story is where there's conflict. And in this conflict, you're able to find the meaning and like the joy. You're able to get that feeling of overcoming conflict to get what you want. The overcoming conflict to find the resolution. That's a good story. And in that good story, I think there's some things that we can find where life's beautiful and where life is magical, right? Perhaps that's another reason true intimacy is so frightening. It's the only thing we all want and must give up control to get. I mean, when you really want intimacy, you have to give up your control to get it. And I think that might be one of the reasons that it's so scary, because we feel safer when we have control. We feel safer when we're in control of something. But if you want true intimacy, you have to give up your ability to have control. You have to give up your ability to be in control of the situation. Last quote. It's true. If we live behind a mask, we can impress, but we can't connect. You can impress people with what you know, what you do, and all that, but you can't connect with them as long as you keep the mask on. To take the mask off is to show them who you really are and to be yourself, and that's when true connection comes in. What are my thoughts on this book? I love Donald Miller's writing style, and this book is no different. He's poetic and humorous, and yet he's very profound. I mean, he really makes you think about the things that matter. Miller is extremely vulnerable in this book on intimacy, and I love it. See, being a theater major, professional magician, and now attorney, I'm able to relate to wearing a mask, trust me. And I'd like to think that Scary Close has helped me take off that mask, at least a little. If you find yourself living in fear of intimacy, this book is for you. If you're afraid to be yourself, this book is for you. And finally, if you want to really connect with those around you, this book is for you. And I'll tell you, if this book is for you, I'll put a link in the show notes where you can purchase it, because man, it's a good book. Now, if you've enjoyed these BookTube Thursdays, then please like, comment, and subscribe on this video, and I'll keep making them. So I will see you guys next Thursday.